Give me 1 second. I just took a bite.
Oh, well, we're live. Welcome into the MOY Ploy. I am Jake Harris, currently co-hosting with Full Mouth Peter.
Ready to go.
Sure.
Took a
Uh,
quick bite.
so welcome in, guys. We're gonna go through the scores, some of the normal segments, and we're gonna talk power rankings. So let's not waste time. Let's get straight into it. Let's look at the scores for the previous week, week 8. Up first, the most exciting game of the week, and what an exciting game it was. It comes down to Monday night. Tom Brady barely gets Jake, myself, enough points. I win by 0.66 points. I win by 7 yards.
That's right.
7 yards. That is wild, man.
hmm Or a 2-point conversion and a
Or a single
4 yard
reception.
loss. That's
Or a single reception for
all that
negative
matters.
3.
It feels bad if you're Todd Craig. I've been there. We've all been there. It's one of the worst feelings, but
Now,
you got to try to bounce back. And
something I
we'll
want to
talk
point
about
out.
why later.
Second highest score with a player who had a goose egg. Kenny Galladay got injured early in that game, and I still got the second highest points of the week.
Yeah, you've had the injury bug all year.
It's true. All right, next up, if Moy, then Moy. Borden taking it down 162 with a fantastic performance by DK Metcalf. Is able to take down Barkley's Bite, who wasted Dalvin Cook's nearly 50-point effort. Sad to see it, bro.
What can you say, Ray? This is all new to Ray. He's never been.
This isn't new to Ray. Mid-season collapses. That ain't new to Ray. All right. Orange Justice, Peter, you took down Brent, taking down the King. The King putting up an abysmal 132.88. And it was crazy. You look at this line right here with Russell Wilson, Kamara, and Kelsey, and you would expect that he had a good week. But there is more to Brent's team than what meets the eye right now. He has got some players that are in a bad situation that their situation recently changed. We'll get into that later.
hmm
And last up, the game of the week did not live up to the hype. Son blowing out father. Phil takes down Todd Moy forever, 153.66 to
It,
108.22.
it was
Look,
an utter lack of
these are top.
respect.
Here's the top performers.
12,
13 points as a top performer. 12 points as a top
17.
performer. Oof.
17 was number one. Ooh.
Spicy. I should say lack of spice, man. All right. So there's not much to talk about when it comes to the next segment, mischief mismanaged. We're just going to go through it real quick here. Todd Craig had several ways that he could have gotten that 0.66 points that he was lacking. And then Ray had Corey Davis on his bench that could have replaced any number of his players, and those would have been the moves to get to shift the wins this week. All the other games were out of reach. We're going to skip secondary matrix because we're going to get into a lot of secondary matrix in the power rankings, and we're going to go straight on to the panic bus.
And this is interesting with the state of the league the way it is.
I couldn't agree more. The state of the league is
Anyone could be panicking or calm as can be.
I think there are 3 teams in my mind who are absolutely panicking, but there are 5 teams total that are on the panic bus this week.
All right, let's run through.
For the first time in a long time, Jaboy is off the bus.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. Even with Kenny Galladay down, I am off.
Breathe, breathe. Everyone has traded you good players. Breathe. You feel everything's come together. The injury M, if the injury M strikes again, you're fine. You've got depth.
All right. So first up on my panic bus, we're gonna go. I'm gonna start here at the bottom with probably the most controversial, Todd Craig, the number 1 scorer in the league, is on the panic bus. No one in our league has a longer active losing streak than Todd Craig. Todd Craig was 4-1 at one point and has now found himself 4-4 and is currently on the bubble, on the playoff bubble. Interestingly, Todd Craig has the highest points against this year. Now, he doesn't need to panic completely because he does have the highest points for, but we saw last year it could be said that a certain team got very lucky to make the playoffs, scoring the fewest points in the league while having the fewest points put up against them in the league. So Todd Craig could get inversely unlucky.
It's
So
true.
it
It's
could be
true.
a fortune of the Todds. One Todd
What
was
he
lucky and one
has,
Todd was unlucky.
what Todd Gregg has going for him is a strong main roster.
Yes.
He's struggling as we started to get into these bye weeks, but if he can pick up a win here, a win there, the loss last week, super tough. Less than a point loss for him. Um, who does he face this week going forward? Is that Brent? Oh, he plays the top dog.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's not an easy schedule, but do I see Todd making it to the playoffs? Yeah, we'll talk later.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll
get
talk.
into that.
We'll talk. All right. So next up on my panic bus, I have got Todd Harris. Todd Harris,
Mm,
if you're tied for last in the league, you got to be on the bus. Sorry, man. You got a 2-game losing streak, and you
he's
are.
fallen from grace, from second to last by the secondary matrix.
And now he is in the bottom half of the league in scoring for the first time this season.
I
So
made a
it is
bet.
truly panic bus time. What
I
was the
made
bet
a
that you made?
I made a bet earlier in the year that Todd MOY Forever would outscore Barkley's bite, and I'm not gonna win this bet in any way.
You think Barkley's bite's going to catch him?
Wait, is Barkley's bite actually behind him?
Yeah, by 20
Just
points.
just by 20. I can't see that close into the
Yeah,
no,
by
but
20 points.
we'll see.
So it's very close. Speaking of Ray's next up on the panic bus. Again, Ray, I think Ray is sixth in the league in scoring. Has somehow got a 4-4 record, but has kind of been tripping recently. It's kind of a win here, loss, win, loss, win, loss. And eventually, I think that he currently has the lowest points against in the entire league. And I think that other shoe is going to drop. I think he's going to start getting beat and beat bad.
For Ray, I like some of Ray's pieces. I really like Joe Burrow. I love Dalvin Cook. It's again,
And that's it.
the
No, I'm
fact
kidding.
no Josh Allen has just been so volatile for him,
It's true. And
and
as
he's
the
and
way
he's
Josh
been
Allen has
he's
gone has been the way that Ray's team has gone.
and the way the injury imp attacked both his first pick,
Yep.
Barkley's bite himself, and Alan Lazard, and he keeps Alan Lazard on his roster for safekeeping. I don't know if it's still there, Ray.
He is. I checked.
Oh, okay. um, it makes you wonder what moves can he make for the final push over the last
Here's the
4
thing.
weeks.
He won't make the moves that he needs to make. He has never made the moves he needs to make. He is a move resistant manager,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
MRM. And I just don't see it happening. That's why I've got him on the panic bus here. Next up, we got to keep moving, is Borden. Borden, obviously, tied for the last in the league in scoring. Yep, on the panic bus. That's where you belong. Sorry, man.
He's last on the panic bus, but I feel like things are starting to look up for him.
I think he's the one who. I disagree. I think that he is the closest to elimination out of anyone in this. Out of anyone that we've talked about so far, I think he has.
Okay.
I think my dad's team has got better prospects at scoring than Borden's does. I think my dad's team has got a better outlook for players that are. Because the thing is, Borden loses one more game, and he's almost mathematically eliminated, and his
Well,
players
let's
aren't coming back. Chubb's not
break
back.
out. Break out. This might be the last graphic for President Trump. Break out the art of the steal. Let's break down
Well,
what
we got one
Borden
more
is.
person on the panic bus that I've
Oh,
got on
we
the panic
do
bus.
one
Yes,
more. How many people are on this bus?
5. It's a crowded bus. 5 people today.
Cinco. Cinco.
Last one on the panic bus, and this is
Oh,
circumstantial. Phil Shover is on the panic bus. The GOAT Squad is on the panic bus.
I would never put him on the
Injuries
panic bus. I
have
trust him too much.
plagued his team, and he just lost his second-round pick, George Kittle, for the rest of the season. R.I.P. Sorry, George K.
The thing about the Goat Squad is he's somehow is he 4-4 despite having the worst receiving core in the league?
Yes, and 4-4 in spite of having the second worst points for in the entire league.
That's because he has QB success. This is the strat I ran last year to
Yes. And
get
the
in.
thing is, he had QB success and tight end success, and now he only has QB success. We'll get into that in the power rankings. We got to
Okay.
keep
Okay.
cruising. Next up, The art of the steal.
Mm.
Mm,
Theft.
theft, bro. All right. So, art of the steal comes, and we have one move to talk about. Antonio Brown, owned by Borden, traded for Travis Fulgham, owned by Jake. So Jake receives Antonio Brown. Borden receives Travis Fulgham. This took place late last week. In the last second move, Borden realized that he needed a receiver to start to get that win. Travis Fulgham was a big part of that. So Borden makes a win now move, the kind of moves that he needs to make right now. And Jake, kind of a risky play for myself here. I really wanted to start Travis Fulgham, and he would have been great for me to start, grabbing almost 20 points.
He would have let you breathe a little easier
Oh
going
my
into Monday
gosh.
night.
So true. Although I would
I
have started
love
him. I would have lost if I'd started him because I was going to start him in place of Robert Woods. Um,
I
but
love Antonio Brown. Love him.
yes, Antonio Brown is one of those players where no player, no lottery ticket player that you could grab off of waivers has more upside
Yeah.
and more percentage and a higher percent chance of hitting that upside. So
He's the best wide receiver in the league. He just hasn't played for a year and a half. So I'm
yeah,
guessing he's going
I
to
don't know.
ball out.
He's 32. Players tend to dip right around that age, so we'll
I
see.
think Jerry Rice, if he's a Jerry Rice caliber player, he'll have a successful year. I think his best year was at the age 33.
That's a lot to ask of a person. All right, so let's get into the power rankings.
Mm.
So for these power rankings, we are going to do it a little bit differently. So I don't have a MOY thing. We'll just throw up this race for MOY.
Because
All right,
that's all that matters.
let's
It
let's
is the
be
race
real.
to the MOY.
Let's be real. So these are the mid-season power rankings, and what I've done is I've based mine off of teams' current predicament, their record, and their roster, and their projections going forwards. Who's coming back for them, and what sort of mid-season help they're going to be receiving. So, you want to start us off, or should I?
I'll go. I have so. Are we just going to go with just talk about
You're
what
going to
eighth?
talk about your
My
team. I'll,
my
I'll,
yeah. Okay, so the team that I'm worried about the most in this league going forward is last year's MOY, Todd Harris, MOY of 2019.
mm,
The volatility in his lineup, the managerial moves, they've caught up with him. Who he sits, who he starts, starting Baker Mayfield in 40-mile-per-hour winds over Lamar Jackson.
Kvest did a
It's the
job
type
for you.
of it's the type of thing that it's gonna cascade out of control, and it's just like I just expect another L this week, and now
It does.
he's gonna be
It
sitting at
does
3-6.
feel. It does feel like he's actually having to play real fantasy football. Like the luck just isn't falling his way, and it does feel like he's panicking. I will give you that, but I don't have him. I don't have him eighth.
Okay, who's your eighth?
My eighth is, in my opinion, super obvious here. I'm gonna also just throw up each team real quick, so we can kind of observe their roster while we talk about them. See if I can get this to work. But my eighth place team is got to be Phil's Goat Squad.
That's painful. He trusted you as a friend, as a person, to be
Look at
objective,
this.
and you buried him.
Look at look at this. Look at this. All right. Here's my analysis on Phil's team. He has elite QB production. You can't deny that. He's got Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert, both of
Two
them
of the top
averaging.
four.
Yes, exactly. Both of them averaging over 20 points per game. It's wonderful. That's all he has going for him anymore.
That's it.
That's literally it. He has below average running back production, and that was before Miles Gaskin went out to injury. Austin Eckler's been out for most of the season. Who knows if he's going to be 100% ever this year? He might not even come back this year. The Charger season is looking a bit like a lost season. So they might just decide to not risk him a career-ending injury on him. And you know what? His bench is weak. He's got a weak bench. He's got a weak running back situation. He literally doesn't even have a healthy replacement for Miles Gaskin this week. He's going to have to go shopping on the waivers.
That does not feel good. Philly Beef, though, has the power of elite QB production in a 2 QB league that can
No, that's
create that.
no.
No,
It's a
yes,
three
yes.
wide receiver league. He has the worst wide receivers in the entire league. It's not even debatable. He has the
It's
worst
counter
wide
logic.
receiver production. He has probably I think he has currently he has the worst running back production in the league because all he has is Josh Jacobs. He doesn't even have a second running back
This
this
is
week.
counter logic gaming
He
approach. He
just
went
lost. He
counterculture.
just lost George Kittle for the entire
Yeah,
season.
it
His
hurts. It
backup is
hurts.
Hunter Henry, and Hunter Henry is putting up less than 10 points per game. Dude, I am selling Phil
All right.
finishing in anywhere near the playoff bracket.
He's got 4 wins, and it's not by mistake. I think he's
It's
got 6.
absolutely
I
by
see
luck, dude.
6-6 at the end of the season for him.
Look at this. The secondary matrix. The secondary matrix, bro. Flash it up on the screen. The secondary matrix are not in Phil's favor right now. Phil has got so
All right.
lucky.
All right.
Second lowest
Number
in
7.
scoring.
Number 7. Who do you have as number 7?
Number 7. It's tough to say it, but all Barkley, no bite, man.
I'm not
Number
too far
7.
off with you. For number 7, I have Borden. And so my issue with Borden is the volatility in production. But honestly, I think if Michael Thomas comes back, I could easily bump him up a few notches. Then all of a sudden he has multiple upper tier echelon receivers and Terry Mack. Travis, like his wide receiver stack could be producing 100 points every week for him. And in that sense, maybe I've undervalued him here. I have Ray at 6, so I'm fine sliding Ray back because Ray doesn't have that type of elite production at any position except for, well, he's got the running back for, yeah. But he only has one running back, and Borden has 4 elite. I feel like Travis Fulgham,
We'll talk about
I wish. Yeah. Okay.
So
talk about Ray.
Here's my situation on Ray right now. Ray has got one good quarterback, Josh Allen. But the thing is, something happened to him, man. Let's pull this up real quick. Josh Allen, his season, 28, 34, 31, 25. And then week 5 happened, and he has not been the same guy.
Nope.
16, 15, 16, 12. And if and like
if he gets to the playoffs, look at that schedule.
He's got a stack. That's a very important stack. He's been heavily reliant on Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs started out super hot, 16, 29, 14, 17. In the games that Josh Allen has not been good, 20, 16, 10, 15. Those aren't bad numbers,
yeah,
but they're not elite the way that he started.
They're not the 30s. That 30 burger felt good, I know, for him.
Exactly. And here's the other thing. Ray's team has got a real crisis of running back. I don't like Antonio Gibson as someone.
But you gave him to him for. You're gonna have Chase now. You get Chase Edmonds for elite production because you made that trade for Antonio Gibson, whereas Ray is now.
Let me say this. I like Antonio Gibson. I like his upcoming schedule. So I guess I should probably bump him up a little bit because he's got the Giants, Detroit, Cincy, and Dallas, all great matchups.
If he's given touches, if he's getting, you can't argue with touches.
Is that Ray's receiving core has been injured over and over and over again. Calvin Ridley nicked up, Deontay Johnson banged up all the time, Chris Godwin banged up all the time.
AB going to the Bucks as well.
And this is the last thing I want to say about Ray. Jonathan Taylor had an eye-opening performance in my mind. He was so bad this last week against Detroit, who has an incredibly easy run defense, and 2 terrible running backs. Jordan Wilkins, bad running back in the NFL, was able to destroy the Detroit defense. Well, he averaged 2 yards per carry. So in my mind, I've been waiting for Jonathan Taylor to do something all season long. He's put up 15, 19, 13, 8, 15, 15, like solid production, but it
just hasn't happened.
I've been waiting for him to
explode, big game.
And it's making me think that he is just a bad NFL running back. He's running into the back of his lineman. He's avoiding giant holes that his line is providing him, and he's content with getting 2 yards in a cloud of dust. He's not breaking tackles. He's not making guys miss. He just looks bad. All right, go ahead. Right. Let's you want to break
number down 6? Number 6. I had Ray, but again the hit or miss. Let's break out number 5. Let's go. Who do you have for 6, by the way?
I'm gonna talk about Borden because I got Borden in for 6.
All right, so they're interchangeable as far as we know.
Flip flopped. Now, here's the thing I will say about Ray's team. Ray's one piece away from making a run.
Ray also has 4 wins. That's big. Borden's at 3.
If
I know
Josh
it doesn't
Allen,
seem like a lot.
yes, if Josh Allen turns it on, Ray's team is going to be fine. If Josh Allen turns it on and he can get like one running back or one receiver that they're all capable of elite production. But if he can get elite production out of them, then he'll be fine. Let's talk about Borden.
Scoring, okay, but let me just say this: scoring is so volatile that one win is going to make it is already so important right now. As we're in the last 5 weeks, 5 opportunities. Ray, for Ray needs only 2 games to get the same record as Borden, who would need 3. It's
Exactly.
just
Exactly. And
mathematically Borden really needs to win out from here if he wants to make the postseason.
yeah. And you know what? I honestly think that I probably should have had these flipped. I think I should have had Borden 7 and Ray 6. But
All right,
let's talk about Borden right now. Borden has
all right.
got I'm going to break it down super quick. Below average QB production, even though he drafted 5 quarterbacks,
He traded his
correct.
best one.
Well, it wouldn't have mattered. Best one went out for the season anyways. Thanks for nothing, Dak. Terrible running back production currently. Justin Jackson is a starter and Melvin Gordon, 2 running backs that are averaging below 15 points per game. He's got a ton of injury problems. He has got he's also had below average he's had average wide receiver production, probably even slightly above average wide receiver production. And he really needs Michael Thomas to come out and be elite. He needs DK Metcalf to hit. He needs Terry McLaurin to hit. If
He
his
could put
receiving
up,
core, here's the thing: every one of his games is on a knife's edge. If receiving core doesn't come through, he loses the game. It's that simple.
but if they hit, man, does it hit hot?
Yeah, I mean, but like, I can't see him making the playoffs, needing every single one of his receivers to hit every week. All right,
It's
number
gonna be a
5.
hurt. Yep.
Go ahead.
All right, number 5, I have the GOAT squad, or as I call him, the GOAT God, Philly Beef. I believe in QB production matters in this league. I did it last year with a trash wide receiver, um, and he's got the 4 wins. So I'm just saying, 4 wins means something.
It does.
And we've seen flukier things. There've been really volatile scoring from week to week. Even though Brent's the highest scorer, last week he dropped to 132. Todd Harris went 190 2 weeks ago to just over 100 this week. That volatility is happening every week to week, and I see Philly, matchup wise, picking up 2 more dubs and maybe being on the bubble for the last playoff seed. But again, he probably needs to get 3 to guarantee a spot.
Yeah.
7 wins I think 7 wins for sure guarantees you a playoff bid right now. We're just so close together.
Yeah, I think you're right. I am gonna talk about. I've actually flip-flopped my 5 and 4.
Okay.
As we're talking, it just made sense. I've got 5. I've got my dad, Todd Harris. I think I'm gonna open up his roster here for us. I think that he has got elite quarterback production, and or potentially elite. Deshaun Watson's been great, but Lamar
Yeah.
Jackson has been a real disappointment this year.
It's been
But the
rough.
thing is, he's averaging 20 points per game, which is okay. It's not what you drafted him to be, but it is okay. Deshaun
Yep.
Watson at 22. So these two, I don't, it's one of those. It was one of those weeks where they were both on bye. It's going to happen
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
So I think he's got a great running back in Derrick Henry, and it's coming into Derrick Henry season. Derrick Henry loves the winter. Uh, I think that he's got James Robinson. James Robinson's and his incredibly talented running back. I just think that my dad just had one of the worst bye weeks that he could possibly have this season.
Yeah.
I
And
think
he
if
could
you
be
look at
bouncing
his
back.
if you look at his starting roster, he has Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Derrick Henry, James Robinson, Tyler Lockett, Robbie Anderson, Juju Smith-Schuster, and one of his tight ends. His tight ends aren't great. But
But again,
and
scoring,
Joe Mixon in the flex. He has got an absolutely stacked starting lineup, and I think that he can make a serious late game push, which is why I have him at 5. I don't
yeah.
think the other teams near the bottom are capable of making the kind of push that my dad could make.
Just remember this, and this is going to hurt for Todd when we break down secondary matrix, but he dropped 188. Brent dropped 192. Again, volatile scoring. He got an L, and that hurts.
It does. It does
I
hurt.
felt like that could be a final blow. I don't know if he's going to dig his way out of this hole.
I think the only thing that's going to stop him from doing that is himself. If he panics and makes some dumb sit decisions, then yes, he will be in trouble. Who do you got at 5? Did you already say?
No, I did Goat God or Goat Squad, Philly
Okay.
Beef. Number 4, I think I have myself. I have myself at number 4. I don't think I have the strongest full starting lineup compared to the 3 people ahead of me. Todd Craig. Well, Todd Craig's ahead of me, and then the other people we haven't mentioned are you and Brent. Um, I don't think I have a start. My starting lineup for when we hit playoffs will not be as strong as um, everyone else's. So what I'm hoping that can happen. Hoping I can find someone off waivers that can be an elite performer going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
need I need to find a difference maker here and there. Quarterback play suspect so far. You know
Mhm.
that no one in this league has started Kirk Cousins more than me, and I know that. That's been painful. Um, Tight
Yeah.
end production, very sus tight end production. I got lucky that somebody dropped Ravens defense for me. These are
Dude,
sometimes you get lucky, and then
I couldn't believe
sometimes,
I missed that. I was so upset when I
yeah.
saw that you added that on, and it was
So,
just sitting right there.
uh, again, I've had good weeks, I've had bad weeks. It really just I'm banking on the Green Bay Packers to support my playoff push.
Yeah, you really are.
Who's your number 4?
My number 4 is Todd Craig's Avengers. I got him pulled up here. So
Yeah,
I think Todd Craig's Avengers. It's an interesting. It's hard to make them number 4 because they currently have the highest points in the league.
yeah.
But I think his situation has changed. I think a lot of those points that he has scored were front loaded in the season. I think his production has slowed way down. And I think if you look at his current situation of his starting roster and his bench, it is not looking good. Here's why. Uh, I think he has got elite quarterback production. Can't deny that. Aaron Rodgers has been on fire, 22.5. Kyler Murray, 28 points per game. That's
Mhm.
bananas. That's
Mhm.
bananas. It's really difficult to beat that kind of elite program. And the other thing is he has got the best wide receiver core in the league. It's not even debatable. Tyreek Hill, Adam Thielen, Keenan Allen. Tyreek Hill, 18 points per game. Adam Thielen, 18 points per game. Keenan Allen, 18 points per game. Bruh.
He's been doing all this with a trash number 1 pick. Didn't he go Zeke Elliott number 1 for his
And
number 1 pick? And Zeke
that's
hasn't really been doing
here's the
anything
thing.
this year.
Here's where he's actually averaging 17 points per game, which is good. But the thing is, that was all before Dak
For
Prescott got hurt.
Yep, yep.
27, 22,
Look at
18,
that, the
20,
Giants game where Dak
23.
got injured, plummet.
And after that game, 12 points, 6 points,
Yep.
8 points. And here's the deal. Every defense knows all they have to
He's
do
lost
is
3
put
in a
9 in the
row.
box, and they put 9 in the box and make the quarterback, or make their fourth string Dallas quarterback try and beat them through the air. They're going against Pittsburgh next week. Then they have a bye week, and then they've got Minnesota, which is like a mediocre lineup
Washington has a
matchup.
good front
Washington,
7.
then Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Bro,
Ugh,
forget about it. He has got basically one usable week left in the entire season, in my opinion,
it's over.
in the entire regular season, in my opinion.
He
And
has
after
to
that,
get rid of him because he's been on a 3-game skid since Dak has gone down. Todd
and
Craig he's lost
look
every
at this.
week that Zeke
His
didn't perform.
here's his replacements. Todd Gurley facing Denver this week, then a bye week, then New Orleans, then the Rams, or
No, no, no.
it's
Vegas
Raiders.
Raiders.
Raiders. Then Raiders, and Raiders you can run on. So he's got probably
Yeah,
one, maybe start him against New Orleans, but I would be fading him against Denver. I would be obviously fading him in the bye week. And so he's got a vacuum, an absolute vacuum at running back right
I
now.
know.
Thankfully,
But elite production at
James
quarterback,
Conner.
elite
Well,
receiver production, and Connor
we,
steps up. He's
yes,
getting tutties,
yes, exactly. We got to talk about Connor.
touches, not tutties.
Connor's been
One
getting
tutty.
touches and tutties. He's been getting
He's
plenty.
got a couple tutties. I know, but
So, in my opinion, Todd Craig's season hangs on the health of James Conner, and that is not somewhere you
and the
want to
production
be.
of Kyler Murray and Aaron Rodgers, very
And
much so.
I'm fine with Kyler and Aaron, but I don't want to hang on the health of James Conner. I think if and that the only reason I have him as low as 4, because his starting lineup is incredible. The only reason I have him as low as 4 is that if anything happens to James Conner, he's just so effed.
The
All right,
lack of depth.
yeah,
All right,
let's move
number
on.
3.
You want to go first or me?
3, I had Todd Gregg, who we just reviewed. I had Todd Craig.
We agree
Who's your
on
number
most of
3?
that, sounds like. I have myself at number 3.
All right.
And
Let's go over the 2 and 1 before we go into this because we're basically getting down to the final numbers. For 2, I have Brent, and for 1, I have you.
okay,
What
so
are your
for
2 and 1?
2, I have you, and 1, I have Brent.
Yeah. So these are all the top of the leaderboard is we have them all mixed up together.
Yeah.
What I like about your team is that you have continued to make trades with people and I just see you making winning trade after winning trade in my mind, and now your roster is exceptional at pretty much every position. I don't even follow kickers, but I'm guessing you have a good kicker. But you got number 1 defense. Christian
Harrison
McCaffrey's
Butker.
coming back. Stacked wide receiver crew. You've got the goat. You stole the goat from the goat squad themselves. Plus you got Taney Hill popping off. I really I don't know. I just feel like you got a strong roster and um, regression to the mean. You've had a strong roster all season, but now they're performing. So I see you go in. I think Brent is. I had number 2, and I'm gonna put. I think by the end of the season, Brent will not be in first place. I think Brent's second, you're first. I'm probably gonna be fighting for third or fourth. I'd love to fight third, so I'd have a chance to play in the finals. What did you see maybe about Brent that you liked that made him number 1?
Yeah, let me pull up his team real quick. So what I liked about Brent's team is his starting lineup is just so good.
It's so good. The Russ, the fact that Wilson
Russell
could be winning,
Wilson
he's the
averaging
forerunner for
almost
MVP.
he's averaging 29.4 points per game.
The only
Obscene.
yeah,
Obscene. He's got Alvin Kamara averaging 28 points per game. Obscene. Here's the thing. He has the number 1 quarterback. He has the number 1 running back. He has the number 1 receiver in DeAndre Hopkins. And if you want to break it down a little bit, he's got Chris Carson, who he's nicked up. Oh, I forgot the number 1 tight end, Travis Kelce.
he hit on all his picks.
He hit on all of them.
He hit on first round Alvin Kamara, second round was
Kelce.
Kelsey, third round was Hopkins,
Yep.
and fourth I think was Russell
Couldn't
Wilson.
May have been Russ, yeah.
Yeah,
And it's just like when you hit that
it feels
that
good.
not just but that hard.
To hit the
You
number
hit
1 because he got the, does he is
if
Dalvin Cook ahead of Kamara for scoring at running backs? If not, I mean they're
no,
1-2. I
it's
bet
one.
Kamara's
Kamara's one.
Kamar's 1. So he had the number 1 QB, the number 1 um, running back. He's probably got a top 5. I think Hopkins is top 5 right now
He's
at
the thing is
receiving.
Hopkins is top 2 in points per game, I believe. And
Damn.
so I really think that Hopkins is going to finish as the best receiver in fantasy this year.
And so
I
how
just
about
think
Brent?
that if
How
you have
about Brent?
if you have that many number 1s on your squad, it's tough to beat.
Plus the
Now,
tight end. Plus the tight end, baby.
exactly. Elite tight end production in a season where look, Kittle's gone.
My hand is shaking.
There is a tier of 2 tight ends that are elite. Darren Waller, who's elite, Travis Kelce, who's elite, and then there's literally everybody else. Mark Andrews is not a thing this season.
Kittle was injury plagued this season. He was injured at the beginning of the season. He got
Yes.
injured again this past week. It's
Yes.
over. Kittle had an awful season this
Yeah.
year.
And everyone else there's been a lot of okay tight ends, but only 2 elite tight ends. And when you go into the game, basically like when I face off against Brent, I'm essentially spotting him at least like 10 points on that tight end matchup. He has I have to make up 10 points almost immediately just because he has Travis Kelce. And then I have to make up like another 10 points because he's got Russell Wilson. And then I'm going to have to make up another 10 points because he's got Alvin Kamara. Like
Here's
that is
why
an enormous deficit that you just automatically
I
start
know
with.
matchups are going to matter in the playoffs. Here's what I see, and here's the thing.
Well, we're not
The
talking.
depth.
This is just regular
But
season.
I know, but the
rankings.
lack of depth. If something happens,
I agree.
it's a vicious sport, and matchups matter. Let's see what happens. But
I
it
agree.
just
Brent has an abysmal bench with the likes of Jordan Howard, who is somehow still on a fantasy roster in this league.
I
Get
love
that
it.
trash off your team, bro. He's got a second kicker. The fuck? Why? He's got the Beazles, who's still getting starts for him. He's got T.Y.
Cole
Hilton.
Beasley.
T.Y. Hilton is averaging less than 7 points per game and is still on a roster. Okay. Just baffling decisions. Baffling decisions. Like
And
14 points for Philip Rivers per game. Sure.
Brent has all these
The
all
only
these
two
great
players
players.
worth anything on his bench, DeAndre Swift and Cole Beasley.
Brent has 5
Everyone else is
wins.
droppable.
All that matters is Brent has 5, but he got to 5 last year, and I don't think he went above 5. Does he? Do
Yikes.
you see a collapse? Do you see
No.
another collapse where
No.
he's the highest scorer and doesn't make the playoffs?
I don't. I think his number ones are so strong that that's not going to happen.
Okay.
Now let's talk. I want to break down my team a little bit.
Mhm.
Just real quick, I think that there is no other team in the league that has as much upside returning to their team as I do.
You just
Christian,
dropped 210
Christian McCaffrey is
recently.
coming back. I did, and that was without C-Mac.
Yep.
That was without Miles Sanders. That was without Antonio Brown. And now I have Chase Edmonds for the meantime. In the meantime, while Drake is out, Chase Edmonds, in my opinion, is a crazy high ceiling player.
Hmm.
That is a lot that is coming back to my team. A lot on top of a team that has been recently near the top of the scoring and has been moving its way up the scoring ranks. I think even with my recent injury to what's his face Galladay, I think my team has got a ton of upside coming to it and a ton of elite production heading its way.
I know. ESPN says it's really not anywhere that close. Or ESPN has it closer to Ray than I would expect. It has Ray at 157. You projected at 164. I feel like it shouldn't really be that close. I feel like you're
I mean,
I feel like you're
I've
more
got
of
a
a 10-point
questionable.
favorite.
I've got a few questionable guys in my lineup. I've got like Marvin Jones because of my injury, and Jermichael Hasty. Those are two big question marks. We'll see what happens.
I love Jamichael Tasty.
All right, I'm gonna break down your roster real quick,
Oof,
and
this
then
could
you
be.
then you are gonna have to break down. I think we've broken down everyone. It's pretty much just your roster. My breakdown of yours that's left.
All right, let's do
So
that.
my number two, you've got average quarterback production, spotty but elite running back production. And the thing is, the way that you've gotten your elite running back production done has been with Aaron Jones as your rock and thrifty waiver moves. I think
Hmm.
you know how to work the waiver better than anyone else in this league for running backs. I think you're going to be able to continue to do that as the season goes on. Injuries are stacking up. There are diamonds in the rough to be had, and you're going to find them. I
Is
think that
Jordan
you've
Wilkins
also
my
got
latest diamond?
against the San Francisco defense.
No,
My
no,
guess
no,
is
no.
no.
Packers are playing San Fran. He's up against Baltimore,
Oh,
which is just as bad.
then no.
No, no, that's just as bad.
I think he's startable, but
Mhm.
no.
I might go for Naheem Hines. Give him a little shout out
I
after.
mean, I like your CEH into Carolina. I like Clyde
Yeah,
Edwards-Helaire the thing is, Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been a huge disappointment, and you've managed around that quite well this season. The other thing I think you have going for you, you've got super elite production at wide receiver. Devontae
Devontae
Adams,
Adams,
dude,
big time.
27 points per game on Devontae Adams. That's nuts.
Packer stacker.
And here's the thing, that's one of the highest points per game in the league, but he has missed so much time due to injury, and I doubt it's going to be the last time he's going to miss more games this season. So
I hope not. I kind of
I'm sure he will.
I have some depth at wide receiver, but I just hate to see that.
The dude is
They
fragile.
took him. I know. Uh, I love the Ravens defense. Tight end is suspect.
Yeah.
Running back, if there's any injuries, suspect. But what I really hope happens is that when I start Carson Wentz the rest of the season, he does what he did against teams like Baltimore and Pittsburgh and New York Giants. I guess the Pittsburgh game really wasn't that great, but he did great against San Francisco. These are teams with good defenses that he put up. I mean, 17 against Pittsburgh defense is still pretty good.
Yeah,
And then
Carson
like
Wentz has got
last
a
week,
great
he
rest of
went up against
season.
the second worst defense in the league and dropped 8. And I'm just like, all right, I guess I might have to watch it on the bench, tear it up. I don't know. But
dude, it's
I'm
yeah.
ride or die. It's Ginger Nation over on Orange Justice. Ride or die, Carson Wentz. I'm not even an Eagles fan. It like feels really weird to like cheer on the Eagles and be like, come on,
You
come
know,
on, baby.
looking at your roster, I might have you too high, man.
He might be too high. It's
I,
just
I don't
it's
like I
respect.
don't like your tight ends. The thing is, I think your wide receivers are just so deep. You got four
Spicy Mike Williams.
awesome wide receivers.
If Dallas Goedert pops off when because he's coming back next week.
Yep.
He played he got a little taste this past week against Dallas and didn't do much, but
Yeah, we'll see.
maybe following the bye. That's my, maybe my saving grace, or
Yeah.
maybe a little Jared Cook if I can find the Cook.
All right. So in review, I have Phil 8, Ray 7, Borden 6, Todd Harris 5, Todd Craig 4, myself 3, you 2, Brent 1. You have Todd Harris 8. Oof. You're going to be getting some choice text about that one.
Put Ray 7,
Ray 7, Borden 6.
Borden 6.
Really?
Yep.
I think
Yep.
I have them the wrong way, but you're going to reverse them back to my way.
I'm reversing him to your way. Goat
Okay.
God.
Goat 5, yourself 4, Todd Craig 3, Brent 2, and me 1. All right, guys, that has been a wrap on the MOY play. This is the longest episode yet. Hope you enjoyed, and we will be catching you guys next week for some
Later.
more fantasy action. Lay lay.